Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I wanted to talk about something that's kind of been evident for about a month now since the latest expansion came out, March of the Lich King. The sad truth about the expansion, and that being, it really hasn't made a big impact, and it feels kind of just like a waste so far, very early on. We're gonna go into why I feel that way, why I hope that doesn't, last. Overall, we're gonna take a look class by class and just see how, it just hasn't been super strong. And a friendly reminder, of course, if you enjoy our content and you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit the sub button down below. Give the video a like. It helps the channel out a ton as we're on the road to 69,420 subs. I am a child. Well, I'm wearing a Power Ranger shirt. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So right now I'm actually in the menu where I'm showing all my whale stuff because, we like to do that around here. I'm in the Path of Arthas, which is Death Knight only, and there's the expansion, March of Lich King. And I will say, the Death Knight class, I love it. I can't play enough of it. I'm over 1,200 wins and going strong. I just don't want to play anything else. Even if it's not the best, I just love the class and I enjoy Frost, Unholy, Blood, all that stuff. I just want to open off the video by saying the new class is sweet. I love Death Knight, and March of Lich King brought us that. So that is a really good positive, and I hope that it just gets better, especially whenever they announce the mini set. I imagine we're going to see like a colossal, maybe a location. There should be some really cool stuff coming for Death Knight. But outside of that positivity, of course, we can't be we gotta be critical. A lot of the Death Knight card stuff have been underperforming, but again, that'll be a thing that I think will evolve over time and will get better over time. And then people will be complaining about Death Knight being too good. I actually still read comments like, Vampiric Blood, my opponent gained too much health. It's too frustrating. That stuff's coming. It'll come. But you start going class by class and you look at the stuff introduced, and there is so many things that have outright missed the mark so far from the expansion. Demon Hunter is probably not the best example for that. The whole spell package has been utilized by Quest Demon Hunter in particular with like Mark of Scorn, Unleash Fel, you've got the Soul Eater's Scythe, you've got Feldori Warband, but ironically one of the bigger payoff cards, Deal with the Devil, nowhere to be found because that just requires you to fight for board. Who wants to do that? You're just gonna blow up your opponent. But the other side of the whole thing, first off, this big demon, completely useless, but the Outcast package, the Outcast cards for Demon Hunter, I did a tweet recently about it, just dreadful. They're absolutely terrible. They're seeing no play, and when they do see play, they lose games. And the whole package was built around it, and Outcast hasn't been really that relevant in Demon Hunter, it feels like, since Skull of Gul'dan, and that was even kind of power crept out of the game before it even rotated. So yes, you got Demon Hunter doing a little bit of stuff, but overall, even like one of the major packages is just atrocious, and the new stuff that's in there just kind of went into old OTK stuff and just does that again. Druid, outside of like 1 or 2 cards, basically nothing really sees play. Aggro Druid has fallen off. Lingering Zombie, which is an incredible card in Arena, hasn't really, moved anything. This whole Undead Aggro Druid that I thought might have a shot, again, nowhere to be found or relevant. The only cards from Druid in this expansion that have really seen meta play is Chitinous Plating, which lets you stay alive. We had a new Brakan, which got nerfed, but still can do the Astalor OTK, so still sees a bit of play, but Druid's fallen off since the Renathal nerf. It's not even good, basically, at any ranks, and it only really sees a good amount of play at lower ranks. You got Honor King, so some of these armor cards have worked, but overall, the whole token package with like Elder Nadox, with Unending Swarm, none of it's really worked out, and you got the Kripp Keeper in here as well. So Druid is also one of the classes that's actually benefited the most from the set, but it gets a lot worse as we go along. And looking at Hunter, outside of like Conjured Arrow, which is an incredible card, even without a buff on it, it's just good. 2 mana, deal 2, draw 2. I was wrong about that card. Maybe we got to do a video about how I was wrong. We haven't done that yet. But other than that, you're basically just looking at Shock Spitter, which is just a really gross card that sort of been nerfed once and all that. But the Arcane package, like the way the Arcane spell package was built, none of it's working the way they wanted, right? They wanted you to get like the big payoff of Eversong Portal, which I thought was the best Hunter card from the set. That's not working. Got this cool legendary weapon that's seeing like absolutely no play. And yeah, none of this stuff is really panning out outside of like the couple of hunter cards that slot into other stuff. Mage is another story where this whole like arcane bolt stuff, basically these early game minions go into aggro mage, like this almost neutral fest style of aggro mage, which I don't think they even saw coming. That just happened. I think they were trying to build around like this whole thing with like Vexalis, like an OTK with that, or transform spells with Energy Shaper, get some random going, and then recast it with your Romath, or get big taunts. And this does see play in big spell mage, but again, no new archetypes were made. Very little of these cards see any relevant play, and again, kind of a dud. Paladin, on the other hand, yeah, Paladin's kicked some butt. Pure Paladin has totally changed to like this aggro variant, more mid-range variant. The dragon stuff for Paladin, total dud, but you know, you got Liatron, you've got the Sanguine Soldier, you got these good buffs. This is such an incredible card in like every mode you could play, really strong. I just want to look at Diamond Liatron. Yep. I mean, that's just pretty sweet. But yeah, the dragon package really not working out. But I mean, even Blood Crusader has seen some play, although it's been ditched lately because we're in a burn meta, and you know, sacrificing 7 or 8 health to get a mini now in a burn meta, not great. But Paladin, I guess, more on the good side of thing. And then we have Priest. We have Priest, which got a bunch of undead trash, which is still like nothing. Priest, if you look at the win rates, not doing great. Vicious Syndicate, basically on their latest report for Priest, said, yeah, nothing here. Just nothing to work with. I know Norwis finished rank 1 with Boon Priest, an old deck that I think only uses maybe Animate Dead, but overall, yeah, Priest's got a bunch of undeads that just don't do anything. They just don't feel great. Like, your big payoff is bringing a bunch of crap back and then maybe getting some AoE. The big standout basically is Sister Svalna, which is a decent control card, but you gotta spend 3 mana, or you're doing Radiant Elemental shenanigans. But I feel like this card is 3 mana because Radiant Elemental, whereas Rogue gets prep and all this stuff, and we'll take a look at that in a second. Like, they don't pay the price for having that mana cheat, whereas Priest does. Rogue, we could just skip, like, every Rogue card's like insane, right? Like, for some reason, Rogue just gets the goods. They just always do. Shadow of Demise, Concoctor, Ghoulish Alchemist, Ghostly Strike, which doesn't see a ton of play, Potion Belt, Busted, Putricide. There's so many goods cards. Rogue didn't really get a new archetype out of all of it. They just got insane busted stuff to throw into Miracle or whatever you want. Thief Rogue, incredible cards. I definitely have to you know, keep it out of that. But then Shaman, you look at all the new cards, again, the undead stuff, none of it's working in any like meta deck that I'm aware of. The only card that really seems to see play out of the entire package, not even really Rockul is popping up that much, is Prescience, I don't know how to say it, where you draw 2, it lets you get your Knolls and your big stuff, and then you do Evolve Shaman Scamp. That's it. Nothing else has worked at all. This big spell stuff is atrocious. The big Shaman stuff just is not working. Pretty much the entirety of the Shaman set has been a dud. Warlock, if you watch my worst card review for the set, like all the worst performing cards, they're almost all Warlock cards. Nothing from the set is working in Standard for WoW. Nothing. It's all unplayable. The discard stuff sees a bit of play in Wild. I guess Devour Souls. Sorry, there's one card, Devour Souls, in Mine Warlock of all things, because that's a deck that, you know, just OTKs and cheats a bunch of mana, but it's just a second win condition in there, or third, or whatever. But yeah, Warlock, basically a complete dud. And Warrior, I mean, does Warrior exist? Look at the win rate. Awful. Enrage got some stuff, but it's still just that, you know, it's like there's just better things to do. And Warrior basically has absolutely nothing of impact. And even neutrals, outside of our boy here, Astalor, that's in like 80 billion percent of decks. I actually took this screenshot from Legend over the past 24 hours. It's up to over 70% and like all rogue cards, because that's all people are playing Legend. But yeah, outside of Astalor, like you look at the neutrals, not a ton of impact. Boneflinger a little bit, but it's just a lot of arena stuff. Like, honestly, look at these cards. What are seeing play on ladder? You've got Silvermoon because it can murder people. You got Hawkstrider, it's okay in like token decks. Nerubian's a pretty good card. Discover some spells. Pretty much none of the Mana Thirst cards are working. Plague Spreader saw a little bit of play when Renathal was a thing. And yeah, you're looking at a lot of duds here. Even, I'm glad this card's a dud, Bloodlord Frost Whisper, but it's a dud. The neutral legendaries, Lord Orthamar has not worked out. The Invincible has been disappointing. And Sunwell is a free card. So yeah, March the Lich King, the sad truth about it, we just went through the entire thing and it felt like less than half the classes got like playable cards. And the classes that did only got a few, but I will say it is at the end of a rotation, right? We're at the 6th expansion. When rotation happens, we'll be losing 3 sets. There's a balance patch, so we'll be hopping with a bunch of outliers. I see potential in a lot of these cards, but as of right now, when you bought all these new expansion cards or whatever, feels like outside of like Rogue and Demon Hunter cards, it feels like it's kind of been a waste of money. Or of course, Death Knight. I love Death Knight. But yeah, overall, March of Lich King so far been a bit of a bust. Kind of wanted to give an update if you're looking at, buying packs. Maybe you want to hold off for a bit, but it will get better. I'm sure of it. And whenever we find out about that, later this month balance patch, maybe some of these cards will be a little bit better. But I thought I'd give you guys just, a picture of everything going on. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.